All right, here's an update on progress on the game engine. I was on vacation for 2 weeks, so um, that took a chunk out of it, but there's still some stuff to show. And I will try to remember what all of it is. Okay, let's see. I will spawn in here. This is a new world. I've been playing with different world gen techniques and haven't quite gotten it down yet. But again, we're, you know, in a corner of the world, so this is the edge, plummets off into nothingness, which is why these mountains just sort of disappear, because I haven't worked out the edge blending yet until I'm happy with the overall terrain. So a couple different features. Let's see, I think I already covered the inventory last time. There's been some technical improvements to the skill development UI and some bug fixes, so this is all pretty much working the way you would want it to. My awesome wife helped me do some multiplayer testing, so we worked out some improvements to the multiplayer experience as well. And we now have these skill bars, and these are some skills. They don't all have icons yet, and these are just shout out to gameicons.net. Great prototype assets there. But this is set up. There's so you can see it expands here. There's basically a set of abilities you have out of combat and a set in combat. When you open the skill list, it pulls it up so you can allocate either of those. So we could do in combat, we'll use spit blood. Out of combat, we'll use catabolism. The descriptions are obviously not in here yet, but the gist of this is let's do coordination there and clumsiness there. Probably won't use those. Actually, we won't use any of this because I turned off enemy spawners since I'm just generating terrain over and over again. I'm skipping building the nav meshes and everything. But basically, we've allocated these now, so we could actually use these. And like, for example, if I use this one, I haven't taken, well, here, let's jump off something and take some damage. And I hope I don't kill myself and have to start all over again. We'll jump off this. We'll take some damage. Ow, we took some damage. So now I'm going to use this catabolism, which has consumed a bunch of my stamina to refill my health. So we have a whole system set up here, and if we were fighting enemies, you would see this immediately switch to the combat bar, and we can use different abilities. And then when the fight ends, it goes back to the non-combat bar, or maybe I'll call it the peace bar. Anyway, and then a big piece of this has been playing with a different technique for world generation. And this is really just kind of the base canvas on which everything's going to get painted. So right now, not messing with trees. There might be one or two here, but generally I haven't tuned trees for the new technique yet. So it's just the base terrain. And I'm going to kind of run in this direction and go over some of these cliffs and things. A lot of the navigation's still a little bumpy or rough here. The fluidness of the using abilities in combat and stuff has been quite nice, and getting all the character development worked out has been good, and the multiplayer bug fixing has been the benefit. But I'm interested. So obviously, my view of this kind of world state right now is that it is a bit. It needs to be flatter, have more kind of flat land to work with, because it's a bit too extreme right now. Whee! But I do like the feature blending that's going on here. I also don't have bouncing off of cliffs and fall velocity and stuff wired up yet. But yeah, I'm interested to see what people think in terms of what terrain they prefer. This to me is too jagged and has too many features, so I think the geological scale might be too tight, meaning it's making all these variations far too randomly. But I do like the texture blending, so I'm going to see if I can get this kind of worked out the way I want. So yeah, that's it. As I said, was on vacation, and a lot of this was focused on multiplayer testing and bug fixes, and then playing with different approaches to the base world generation. But let me know what you think. I think somewhere in the middle is probably the best. See, that's an example over there. You can see that's essentially a desert, but it's way too small. So I think all of these features are changing too fast, which is also creating some of this fracturing in the terrain because it's making abrupt adjustments between like tundras and grasslands and things like that. So a lot of refining to do, but I do like the visual variation and stuff. So hoping I can get this kind of dialed in a little bit more. All right, that's it. Peace.